All right, so those are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. You're watching CNBC TV 18, and this is Reporter's Diary. So let's start with a quick check on Dalal Street first, where the market started the January series on a strong footing led by positive global cues. The Nifty flirted with the 10,900 mark but failed to sustain at that level. The index ended with gains of about 0.75%. The Sensex also managing to hold on to the 36,000 mark despite selling pressure in the last hour. Surbhi Upadhyay joins us now with a wrap of the trading action. Surbhi, good day for the bulls.
Well, pretty good way to end the last trading week of the year. In fact, a good day and a good week, we can say that. Gains that were widespread, so the Nifty's managed to go home with an up move of almost 0.7%. The good part is that buying was very well spread out throughout the large cap basket and even the mid cap basket, and the market breadth was quite strong through the course of the day, and we didn't see too many gyrations. We didn't see too much of volatility today. So let me run you through the stock movers. Great day for a couple of the jewelers, with Titan really leading from the front. Perhaps it's a rub off on the rise that we're seeing in gold prices, but Titan was up almost 5% as we were closing out. Sun Pharma and IOC were some of the other key gainers of the day. Good day for a lot of metal stocks, both on the ferrous and the non-ferrous side. So the likes of Vedanta, JSW Steel, Hindalco, all of them up between 1 and 2.5%. Financials continue to be a strong pillar today, whether you're looking at an NBFC like a Bajaj Finance or the banks. Yes Bank, of course HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and HDFC itself. So financials, absolutely not a problem for the market. What was weak then? Couple of names. Coal India was consistently down, ended about 3% lower. BPCL was on the other side. So divergence between how oil marketing companies have really traded today. And it was important to note the selling or the profit taking rather that was coming in stocks like Infosys and TCS. Towards the end of day, they started coming to ground zero. Mid-caps had a flying session, particularly in the second half in the afternoon. I'll give you some examples. Avenue Supermarts, almost 5% on the higher side. Lemon Tree, very strong and very consistent right from the morning. They've got lots of new ideas. They're setting up housing for students, housing for working professionals. So an interesting conversation with the management there. Reliance Capital and a couple of other ADAG group stocks found takers today. Sun TV was quite a mover, almost 5% higher. And Page Industries, late surge, but it's a big stock and it moves smartly higher. So all in all, great way to end the last week of 2018.
Right, Surbhi, many thanks for joining us with all the details of the day's market action. And inflation is at the lower end of the Monetary Policy Committee's range, and therefore nominal interest rates need to commensurately go down. That's the word coming in from Principal Economic Advisor Sanjeev Sanyal. In a conversation with Lata Venkatesh, Sanyal also said that small businesses were facing real interest rate of 10%. He also talked about farm distress and stressed on the need to reduce the cost of capital for farmers. Here's an excerpt of that conversation.
We need to make sure that the fact that there is this excess is leading to food prices being under continuous pressure downwards.
That's right.
We need to deal with that. There are a few things that we need to take into account. One is we need to make sure that these food prices are held up in some ways, and MSP is one way of doing it. But also remember that the farmers are also facing very high cost of capital. So their output, which is food and other agricultural products, that inflation for that is essentially at zero right now. And they are all borrowing at more than 10%.
Yeah.
So the real interest rate for them is over 1,000 basis points. So we need to begin seriously about reducing the cost of capital. In fact, in some ways, this is the source, if you think about it, for the demands you see for farm waiver and other farm loan waiver, etc. This is the source of it. The cost of capital is very expensive. By the way, not just for farmers, for small businesses and many others as well.
Yes.
So this is one big area.
Like you said, that we've got a severe food disinflation, which has actually been surprising. One thought that MSPs would perhaps increase the prices. That has not happened. And now to add to that, we also have a fuel disinflation. So what do you look at in terms of, how much rate cuts can come? We already have a fairly comfortable liquidity with the Reserve Bank promising 50,000 crore of bond purchases December, Jan, Feb and March. To add to that, how much space for rate cuts do you see in 2019?
Firstly, let me clarify that this is really the prerogative of the Monetary Policy Committee. So I can't comment on exactly how much they should cut. But I can lay out the landscape.
Okay.
Basically, inflation is now running at the bottom of the range that the Monetary Policy Committee had been given. And we have now, it's just not something new, we have now had for some time inflation running at or below the midpoint of that range.
Opposite.
So inflation, I think, has structurally come off. I think it's fair to say that the old 7 or 8 to 10% range of inflation that we used to have, that has been lowered by some good, 500-600 basis points. So if that is the case, we need to see a commensurate reduction in the nominal interest rates. Otherwise, you have real interest rates running about the highest in the world. I mean, small business still borrows at 12 percentage points, right? Now, if inflation is running at 2%, that's 1,000 basis point
real interest
rate. Clearly, 1,000 basis point, at least an 800 basis point real interest rate for large parts of the economy. This is clearly not tenable because of a variety of reasons. First of all, this is a source of enormous financial stress to the balance sheets. So this is a major problem for small business, large business, for farmers. After all, farmers can also be seen as small business, and so on. It also causes stress on our fiscal side because the government is, after all, the biggest borrower from the system. So it is a stress on the fiscal side. But also, ironically, keeping high interest rates over long periods of time also increases inflation. This is something that economists tend to forget. That while high interest rates in the medium term lowers inflation, in the long run, high interest rates mean that you do not build capacities that you would have otherwise built, whether infrastructure, in industry and so on. So you end up with higher supply side inflation in the long run if you keep interest rates high indefinitely, irrespective of where inflation is. So I think we have structurally brought down inflation. We now need to take step 2 and structurally bring down the interest rates so that they are in sync with the new level of inflation. And that, when I say, when we have to think in hundreds of basis points. Now, exactly what trajectory the MPC takes, of course, is their prerogative.
Right, so Sanjeev Sanyal, they're making a pitch for a reduction in interest rates. But let's also get you a CNBC TV 18 exclusive where the government is tightening the noose around people who are evading GST by using bogus bills. Sources tell us that the government has tasked field officers to keep a strong vigil on tax evaders. We also learned that the government has made a few arrests in Delhi as well. Timsy Jaipuria reports on the latest from there. Timsy.
Even as government is trying to meet the daunting GST target, tax evasion is something which has started bothering the government, and government has started taking action also against it. What we understand from sources is the fact that government has now tasked all the field formations to keep a strong vigil against tax evaders under GST, and it feels that bogus billing is one of the major areas through which tax evasion is happening. Pan-India government has identified about 10,000 odd crore rupees of tax evasion being done only through bogus billing, that too from states and cities like Delhi, Chennai, Himachal Pradesh, UP and Gujarat, which are some of the prime areas through which bogus billing is happening. Also, government feels that MSMEs are being used for this bogus billing so that they can claim refunds, which is an undue refund for them. And yes, not just this, about 2,000 odd crore rupees of bogus billing is currently under investigation, where government has also started making some arrests when it comes to the bogus billing exercise being adopted by the tax evaders. So let's see how soon government tries to catch hold of GST tax evaders, and what is the final figure, how much of GST tax evasion gets back into the system. Back to you.
Now, the trailer of The Accidental Prime Minister, film based on the eponymous book by former media advisor Sanjay Baru, has sparked a controversy. The Maharashtra Youth Congress has alleged that the trailer has presented incorrect facts on former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Sonia Gandhi as well as Rahul Gandhi in order to malign the image of the party. They have written to the producers demanding a special pre-release screening of the movie. The Bharatiya Janata Party, meanwhile, shared the film's trailer on its official Twitter page, terming it as a riveting tale of how a family held the country to ransom for 10 long years. Manmohan Singh was silent when reporters approached him for a comment at an event marking the Congress Party's 134th anniversary. Congress President Rahul Gandhi evaded the media as well. Meanwhile, Congress spokesperson Randeep Surjewala has rebuffed reports that the accidental Prime Minister has been banned in Madhya Pradesh, now Congress-ruled state. Surjewala tweeted, and I quote, "The MP government has taken no such decision. Fake propaganda by the BJP won't desist the Congress from questioning the Modi government on rural distress, rampant unemployment, demonetization disaster, flawed GST, failed Modinomics, all-pervading corruption. Nation wants governance, not diversion. End of quote.
सर, आपके ऊपर जो फिल्म बनी है उसके ऊपर क्या कहेंगे? सर, आपके ऊपर जो फिल्म बनी है उसके ऊपर क्या कहेंगे? सर, राहुल जी,
जो फिल्म बनी है सर एक्सीडेंटल प्राइम मिनिस्टर उसमें राहुल जी जो फिल्म बनी है सर एक्सीडेंटल प्राइम मिनिस्टर उसमें
फिल्मों को जो आज़ादी रहती है, जो आज तक आज़ादी की कांग्रेस बात करती थी, आज उसके ऊपर कैसे प्रश्न चिन्ह उठा रही है?
The Congress is saying that this is an attempt to malign the image of the former Prime Minister and that certain scenes, which, because the trailer is out right now, should be rectified and corrected by the producers of the film.
I was a civil servant during those 10 years, between 2004 and 2014. During that period, I was ambassador of India to the UN in Geneva. I was ambassador to Brazil. You had a Prime Minister who was, you can call him nominated. I don't know whether that's fair or not as a characterization. But the real power center lay elsewhere. But if the film projects that, then, you will have to make up your mind on what it is that you are citing as reason to ban the film. I don't think there's any basis for banning. It's a film.
कोई तीसरी शक्ति नहीं है जो आपको कह सके कि अब ये फिल्म जो है आप हमें दिखाइए. ये हमको किसी ना किसी टाइम पर रोकना है. The accidental prime minister एक सिनेमा के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से is a revolutionary film. That first time in independent India we are making a film with the real names, with the real people, based on the book, lawfully bought the rights of the book from Sanjay Baru.
ये फिल्म बहुत डिग्निफाइड फिल्म है, बहुत ही रियल बेस्ड फिल्म है और बहुत ही ईमानदारी के साथ और बहुत ही ऑनेस्टी के साथ ये फिल्म बनाई गई है. और मुझे इस बात का यकीन है कि इस फिल्म को फिल्म की तरह से देखा जाए, इस फिल्म को बाकायदा एक पीस ऑफ आर्ट की तरह देखा जाए. और मनमोहन सिंह की जो जर्नी है, बहुत कमाल की जर्नी रही है उनकी. और मुझे इस बात का पूरा यकीन है कि फिल्म बहुत बड़ी सक्सेसफुल फिल्म होगी. पॉलिटिकल फिल्में इस देश में बनी हैं, बनती रही हैं, लेकिन मैं एज अ को प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ द फिल्म इतना कहना चाहूँगा कि ये फिल्म बहुत ही अलग है.
To project Rahul Gandhi as an alternative to the Prime Minister, we've seen some fierce verbal exchanges between the two this year, from the Namdar versus Kamdar debate to the Chaukidar Chor hai to the hug and a wink. Parikshit Luthra gets you some of the most heated exchanges between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi in 2018.
उन्होंने ऐसी बैंकिंग नीतियां बनाई कि जिसमें बैंकों पर दबाव डाले गए, टेलीफोन जाते थे, अपने चहेतों को लोन मिलता था, वो लोन पैसा नहीं दे पा रहे थे. बैंक, नेता, सरकार, बिचौलिए मिलकर के उसका रिस्ट्रक्चर करते थे. बैंक से गया पैसा कभी बैंक में आता नहीं था.
मोदी जी ये देश को नहीं बता सकते हैं कि 22,000 करोड़ रुपए जो नीरव मोदी जी ने जनता का पैसा छीन कर लिया है, उसके बारे में कौन जिम्मेदार है. अलग अलग मंत्री आ रहे हैं, सोशल जस्टिस के आए, डिफेंस मिनिस्टर आए, मगर फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर या प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो जिम्मेदार है, उन्होंने इसके बारे में कुछ नहीं कहा.
He must explain why a businessman has been favored. I know, I can see he's smiling, but there is a touch of nervousness in the gentleman. There is a touch of nervousness in the gentleman, and he is looking away from me. I can understand that. And now he cannot look into my eyes. He cannot look into my eyes. I can see that. How can it be? Because the Prime Minister has not been truthful.
This is not necessary. No.
was referred to me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. On the secrecy clause.
मैं तो हैरान हुआ सुबह भी कि अभी तो चर्चा प्रारंभ हुई थी, मतदान नहीं हुआ था, जय पराजय का फैसला नहीं हुआ था, फिर भी जिनको यहाँ पहुँचने की उत्साह है, उठो उठो उठो। उठा सकता है न बिठा सकता है, 125 करोड़ देशवासी बिठा सकते हैं, 125 करोड़ देशवासी उठा सकते हैं।
The ex-president of France is saying is that the Prime Minister of India is a thief. For the first time, probably in Indian history, a ex-French president is calling our Prime Minister a thief.
जो माँ बेटे रुपयों की हेरा फेरी में जमानत पे घूम रहे हैं, वो आज मोदी को प्रमाण पत्र दे रहे हैं।
ये जीत कांग्रेस पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं की है, किसानों की है, युवाओं की है, छोटे दुकानदारों की है। जो राफेल हवाई जहाज के प्राइसिंग डिटेल्स हैं, कीमत के डिटेल्स हैं, उनको कॉम्पिटेंट ऑडिटर जनरल की रिपोर्ट में लिखा गया है, और वो जो रिपोर्ट है पब्लिक अकाउंट्स कमेटी, जो पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी है, उसके साथ शेयर किया गया है। ये भाइयों और बहनों जजमेंट का फाउंडेशन। अब मेरे सामने खारगे जी बैठे हैं, और खारगे जी पीएसी कमेटी के चेयरमैन हैं पार्लियामेंट में, और आप लोग खारगे जी से सीधा पूछ लीजिए क्या सीएजी रिपोर्ट पीएसी कमेटी में आई, नहीं आई, पार्लियामेंट में रखी गई, और इन्होंने जो पीएसी के चेयरमैन है, इन्होंने सीएजी रिपोर्ट अपनी जिंदगी में देखी है, हाँ या ना, पूछ लीजिए।
कांग्रेस का इतिहास बोफोर्स घोटाले वाले क्वात्रोची मामा का रहा है। कांग्रेस सरकार के समय में हुए हेलीकॉप्टर घोटाले के आरोपी एक और अंकल क्रिश्चियन मिशेल को पकड़कर कुछ दिन पहले ही भारत लाया गया है।
And globally, from Brexit to North Korea, 2018 was peppered with a plethora of geopolitical events for investors to track. CNBC's Wilfred Frost looks at the big global themes that could shake the market next year.
2018 has been a tumultuous year for geopolitics, and 2019 has plenty of challenges to overcome too. First, the China trade war continues. After achieving small improvements in trade terms with South Korea, Canada and Mexico, investors are wondering whether President Trump will end up settling for some minor adjustments with China by early 2019, or whether he fundamentally wants to shift the balance of future economic power, in which case escalating tensions should be expected. This question will also have large implications for the possibility of another summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Second, turmoil in the Middle East. Will Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman continue to tighten his grip on power in Saudi Arabia and continue to get support from President Trump despite the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi? And finally, Brexit. Deal or no deal? With the 29th of March departure date fast approaching, will Theresa May get her deal through Parliament, leading to an orderly departure, or will the UK crash out of the EU with no deal? And risks elsewhere in Europe remain elevated too. French President Emmanuel Macron's approval ratings are below 20%, while disputes between Brussels and Italy's populist government rumble on. We'll get a test of the temperature of populism in Europe with May's European parliamentary election.
Right, so plenty of challenges continue as we head into 2019. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Reporter's Diary. Many thanks for watching.